Continuing on with our basic sculpting system, in this video Lee is going to skeleton our classes in place for the raise, lower, smooth, and level sculpt tools.
Right, so we're going to start implementing the sculpt tools, but before I start creating each of the individual ones, we need to revisit our sculpt tool abstract class. Mostly, I need to start adding a little bit more functionality to it. The functionality that I am speaking of is going to be a property. This is going to be our strength property. So every tool is going to have the ability to adjust its strength. This is going to be how much of an effect this particular tool is going to have on its vertices. Each brush will have its own complement to it, which is going to be called opacity. So, and as Jason was asking me as well as why I chose to implement the sculpt tool as an abstract class instead of an interface, this is why. Because I'm actually coding functionality in. Is it not going to give me the option? Come on, ReSharper. Yeah, there we go. All right, so the reason I'm converting this over is because I want to set a default value of a strength of 1. And instead of using this particular set, I want to clamp our strength. So let me go ahead and kill this. Call mathf.clamp, and we're going to set it to be value with a min of 0 and a max of 1, and I need to put that there, and I need to assign it to our strength. So this will give us a property. All right. What do you mean it's not being used? It's used right there. All right. That takes care of this part. Now we need to create our classes for each of our tools. I'm going to start with one first, and then because they're, for the most part, really similar, we're just going to do a lot of copying and pasting. Now, I believe the very first one that I want to play with is going to be our raising sculpt tool. So this will be our raising sculpt tool. Let's go ahead and remove that part of it. Let's get rid of the stuff that we're not using. And this is going to inherit from our sculpt tool. It's going to tell me that there are things that are inherited that I need to deal with. So I'm going to go ahead and implement that, and I'm going to leave it like this for now. Now, each one of our tools are going to be based off of pretty much this exact thing. So there's real no need in typing it over and over and over again. So we'll go ahead and take this one, duplicate it, paste it, rename it. This one will be our lowering sculpt tool.cs. Paste it again. This one will be our leveling. Paste one more time. This one will be our smoothing sculpt tool. All right, now let's open each one of these. So we've got raising already open. Open up lowering, leveling, and smoothing. Really? You know what happened? I copy and pasted, but I never saved. Lovely. All right, Control C, lowering, Control V.
Just Control A, Control V real quick.
What's that? Oh, yeah. I guess Control A does work. All right, so that takes care of those. Change this one to smoothing. I tried to be all slick, and look at what happened. All right, so that takes care of smoothing. That takes care of leveling. Lowering. Go ahead and save all those out. Make sure there's no errors. Now, leveling and smoothing are going to require some extra properties to deal with. Now, leveling is going to need to know about our level height and whether or not we are currently leveling. So we're going to have a static float that's going to be our level height. So we're going to give it a getter and setter. And we need to keep track of whether or not it is currently leveling. So another getter and setter. Well, fine.
Yeah, I need to get that type in there. There we
Yeah.
go.
All right, so that gives us our fields that we're going to need. Level height is basically the moment that you press the left mouse button down. When you have the leveling tool active, it's going to get that leveling height if it is not currently leveling. If you're currently leveling, it's going to keep the existing level height. And the moment that you let off is leveling, it's going to get set to false. And when you press the button again, it's going to sample that level height. That's how we get the behavior that you saw Jason demonstrate, where he can put the cursor at the height he wants it to maintain, push the button, and it just draws at that height until it lets go. So those are our two fields that we need for that to happen.
Okay.
Now inside of our smoothing tool is going to need a dictionary. Now this is going to be a private dictionary. And this dictionary is going to be indexed based off of a vector 2. And it's going to store vector 3s. This particular dictionary is going to be called vertices. And we're going to initialize it right off the bat. So that will take care of the initial skeleting in for each one of our tools. Now what we're going to be doing in I think the next video is marked as starting to put together the raising sculpt tool.
Actually,
or is it
it's the
brushes?
select. Actually, the next one is the implementing the select tool method.
Oh yeah, we've got to be able to choose which of the tools we're going to be currently using.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in the next video, we're going to be putting together the selection of our tools.
Right. Awesome. Okay. Well, with that, that is going to wrap up this video. Thanks a lot.